Yep. Inside, I want to kill myself. We are on an 0-7 run over the last 2 days. After tonight was just complete bullshit. So that's how I'm going to start off this show. Horrible Sunday, 1-5. I don't even know what to tell you about that. I just don't want to do this anymore. I have never seen anything like this, man. With the slump continuing, 2 straight losses, not a good day at all. 0-4. I just have not had a good season, man. What can this slump that I'm on? The slump continues. I've reached a new peak, actually. I'm going to burn my Bruins hat, man. I don't know what is going on with the Bruins. March 8th, is that what it is? I don't even know. It's March 9th, I think. Who even knows, man? I don't know what day it is anymore. I don't even know what day it is anymore, man. Back with you after the worst day that I could possibly have. Back with you, as I always am. Until I die, at least. 0-2 yesterday, and yesterday did not go well for me. 0-5. The worst month that I've ever had in my 18 years doing this. I don't know what to even tell you about this anymore. Broke the slump yesterday as the slump discontinues. The slump continues. Somebody fucking kill me, please. I don't even know what I should do at this point other than potentially end it all. What's up, everybody? It's Toad back with you. Better Off Dead, Saturday, October 4th. Thanks to everybody who hung out for the college football video last night, college football week 6. If you want all my detailed analysis on that, there's still a little bit of time. You can go check that video out. My best bets are at the end, but I also added one while I was going through all the games. I decided it was strong enough. If you want those plays, I'm going to give them out again at the end of this show, but the analysis will be on. It's already in that video from last night, the college football show, and I will be putting short analysis out on Instagram as well. I'm going to have one baseball play as well. The show's going to be all baseball as WNBA is off today. We did get a 3-point win from Vegas as far as the WNBA final game 1 was concerned. So Vegas does have a 1-game lead now in the final. They're on their way to making me correct in my bracket where I had Vegas being the champion there. So we'll see if it winds up happening. Let's get into baseball, man. We just have 4 games. It's the Divisional Series here. Games 1 are all today. I don't think there's anything to recap from yesterday, right? Because I don't think I had any plays yesterday. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did not. Although my best lean was a winner on San Jose State. So if you guys jumped in on that, that was correct. Delaware was not correct, though, which I thought was maybe the second best lean. Let's get right into this, man. We have baseball throughout the day here. Alternating between TBS and I guess HBO Max is carrying the TBS games now as well, and Fox Sports 1. First game up is one of the TBS/HBO games at 2:08 p.m. Eastern. Cubs and Brewers. We get a divisional matchup in 2 of the 4 series here. This is an interesting one, man, because obviously these teams know each other. You know what? Actually, should I go through these in order? Because I have a bet on this one. Should I just do it now, or should I wait until the best bet segment? You know what? I'll wait until the best bet segment. Yankees-Toronto is the second game up at 4:08 p.m. Eastern on Fox. You know me. I'm rooting for Toronto in this series. I'm rooting for anybody but the Yankees at this point for the most part. I don't know if Toronto's going to be able to get this done here, man. Toronto looks like they have some of the money coming in on them right now. They're up from -120 to -121 on the money line. 53% of tickets on the Yankees. 53% of the cash coming in on Toronto. So money is coming into Toronto. I hesitate a little bit as far as that's concerned. And then 65% of tickets, 74% of the cash on the over. This is the highest total of the day, and it's only 8, but it is 8 juice to the over now, up from 7.5 juice to the over. So some fairly significant money looks like it's coming in on the over, and I don't really disagree with the over here. It's just that in these playoff games do tend to be lower scoring. In the first game of a series, you get kind of a long layoff there for the team that didn't play in the wild card, so their hitting might not be totally up to snuff, I guess, here. Now, there is kind of an advantage, I think, to the teams that came out of the wild card round because they have a little bit of momentum now. They already played, so that pressure is kind of off of them now. But I'm going with a matchup here, and I'm actually kind of fading that with my one play, so you probably know what it is already. The money seems to be kind of fading that sentiment here with Toronto and the over here as well. But you do have to look at the matchup here. And for the Yankees, at the very least, we don't really have their best pitcher on the hill here with Luis Heel, who is still pretty inexperienced and young. I don't know if he pitched. I don't know if he was in the rotation for the playoffs last year, if he had gotten hurt again. I forget if he was there. So he's the less experienced of the two pitchers for sure, though. He had a 3.32 ERA this year, which is good, but a 1.4 whip obviously is not very good. He puts too many guys on base via the walk. He's not really good on the road, 4.38 road ERA, which is where he is here. So something to keep in mind. And then I believe he did not pitch in the wild card series. So another thing to keep in mind there is that he's sort of almost pitching on just normal rest with a slight delay because he last pitched on the 28th, so I don't think that should really impact him too negatively. But he didn't pitch well in September, man. 12 to 14 strikeout walk ratio, even though it's 2.93 ERA looks good, but that walk rate is very, very high. His strikeout rate was actually really low. Usually he has a higher strikeout rate than that, so definitely some concerns with Heel coming into this game. And yeah, he's generally going to put too many guys on base, and Toronto is an offense that can kind of make you pay. Both of these offenses are good. Toronto has the better bullpen of these two teams, by the way. Neither bullpen is terrific. Toronto's is mediocre, at least. Heel against Toronto does have somewhat good numbers, though. In 64 at-bats, he's held him to a 188 batting average, which is really good, but given how low that is, the 631 OPS does look high, even though generally it's not that high. Again, it's just way too many walks. 14 strikeouts, 20 walks against them. So again, Heel, if you're putting guys on base, man, you're kind of up against it, especially if your strikeout rate is down. So I could see the arguments for the over here, and that Heel may put too many guys on base, which could mean that he's going to wind up allowing some runs. He's going up against Kevin Gausman, who certainly is the guy that puts fewer men on base for Toronto here. 3.59 ERA, 1.06 whip. Good numbers on the season. He was slightly worse at home, so 3.86 ERA at home. So the home road splits kind of lend themselves to the over there as far as neither of these pitchers is in a good home road split here. Gausman was pretty good in September, 2.78 ERA, 32 to 7 strikeout walk ratio, a lot better than what you got out of Heel. Although he did struggle in his final two starts against Boston and Tampa. Boston, we know they have a decent offense. He still had a good strikeout walk ratio over those two outings, 12 to 3, but he gave up 4 earned runs in each. He was a little bit too hittable there, but I'm not ready to say that he's just totally done or anything like that. Last time against the Yankees on September 5th in the Bronx, he really did well against them. 8 innings pitched, 1 earned run allowed, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. But his numbers overall against the Yankees are not as good as that. They have a lot of experience with him. 262 at-bats against him. 82 to 36 strikeout walk ratios. A pretty high amount of walks. He's held them to a 256 average, but an 841 OPS. So the Yankees have been able to hit Gausman a little bit too. So, yeah, really, I would say, okay, I just have a very slight lean maybe to Toronto just because I think if you include the bullpens here, that gives them a little bit of an edge in the bullpen department. I think the better way to look at this game is actually the over, like I was alluding to, but I don't really want to give that out as a play, but I could definitely see that happening. 6:38 p.m. Eastern on TBS and HBO Max. We do have the Dodgers and Phillies. This is a good matchup, man. A lot of people think the Phillies are going to win it all. I personally think the Dodgers are going to win this series. As you saw in my bracket, I have the Dodgers getting to the World Series and bouncing Philly. Philly being kind of the public-ish pick for the playoffs here, as they do have the best odds to win, although obviously they're still an underdog pretty substantially against the entire field. Charles, what's up? Thanks for hanging out, man. You have a heavy lean to Toronto. I wish I was that confident in that, because I would love to see the Yankees get bounced, man. Toronto has less experience, though. The Yankees were here last year, so there is something to be said for that. As far as Dodgers, Phillies, both of these teams have experience. I think they were both in the playoffs last year, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe Phillies weren't. Actually, the Dodgers obviously won the World Series, so they have plenty of experience. The Dodgers, neither team has a good bullpen. The bullpens are actually about equal coming into this one. Dodgers coming in with a bit of momentum because they had an easy series last time, and they got those games under their belt and had the easiest time out of any of the teams in the wild card round. The only sweep in the wild card round was the Dodgers, which I kind of figured that. I mean, that was the biggest mismatch in the entire wild card round. Dodgers have the better, I believe they have the better of the two offenses at this point, although both offenses are good. Let me just take a look real quick. Yes. Dodgers second, Phillies fourth, and Yankees and Toronto are number 1 and number 3, respectively. So you do get good offenses in that Yankees-Toronto game if you do like the over. Shohei Ohtani is pitching for the Dodgers here, so this is a little bit of a concern for me, man, if you do like the Dodgers, because Ohtani, I know he's probably not going to be, I don't think the pressure is going to get to him or anything like that, but it is the case that I believe he has never pitched in the playoffs before. I think that's the case because he hasn't pitched for the last couple of years at least. So he is going to be pitching here. He's been pitching well, though. Hold on. Let me look at it. I need to look at his pitching here. I hate ESPN, man, because Ohtani fucks everything up because he's basically Babe Ruth, and he's listed as a DH. Ohtani didn't give up any runs in his 3 outings in September, even though the Dodgers lost all 3 games. I mean, it obviously wasn't his fault. He didn't give up any runs. He had an 18-2 strikeout walk ratio over that span. He actually went 6 innings last time out at Arizona and held them scoreless with 8 strikeouts. So he's on point right now. He's pitching well. He's ramped it up to being like a full-time starter again based on that start. He threw 91 pitches. I don't think he's totally burned out or anything like that because they didn't have him start pitching until later in the season, and they kind of, middle of the season, and they gradually ramped him up to where he is now. So he's now at the point where he can potentially make a full start. 2 starts ago, he did shut out the Phillies. But I can't see what his numbers are against Phillies hitters because they don't have it here. Like, you have to, ESPN has to change him back to a pitcher to allow you to see it. They don't allow you to switch to the pitcher view here, so we can't tell. But he is pitching well right now. He's in good form. He's going up against Christopher Sanchez, who the Phillies, he's their ace now since Zach Wheeler went down. Sanchez, a little bit younger. I mean, I don't know if the pressure is going to get to him here because he's new to being at the top of the rotation, man. Let's just put it that way. So I don't know if there is going to be some pressure on him because he's got to be the guy now for Philly with Zach Wheeler not there anymore. Sanchez really good this season. 2.5 ERA, 1.06 whip. He was really good at home. 1.94 ERA at home. This month, he was really good as well. 1.65 ERA in September, 31-3 strikeout walk ratio. Only didn't make it through 6 innings in his most recent start against Minnesota, but I think they were just getting him ready for the playoffs because he shut Minnesota out and they just took him out after 60 pitches. So I think they were just making sure that he wasn't overworked coming into this one, so probably a good idea. His numbers against the Dodgers are decent in 102 at-bats, 24-5 strikeout walk ratio, 255 average, 731 OPS allowed. This particular game, I would have a tendency to lean more towards an under in this game. 74% of tickets on the over, 70% of the cash on the over. So the money is kind of agreeing with that. The total's sitting right there at 7, although I worry about the bullpens, but the bullpens are somewhat rested at least. I think you could go under in the first 5 innings here, though you do have to go under like 3.5. Don't really know how the pitcher's going to react like pressure-wise, though, so that would be the concern that I have with the under. The bullpens are concerned with the full game under, although you at least get under the key number 7 if you do want to do that. Under in the first 5, you'd have to go under 3.5, but I wouldn't really disagree with that. And the money is coming in on the Dodgers on the side. Phillies down from -120 to -113. 56% of tickets, 66% of the cash coming in on the Dodgers. So the money is coming in on the Dodgers. And I did forget to just kind of go over real quick. Phillies are very, very good at home, though. 55-26 at home on the season. Dodgers are only 1 game above 500 on the road, but I would take that with a little bit of a grain of salt because we know the Dodgers were without, like, their starting rotation is way different than it was throughout a lot of the season. I think the Dodgers just really lacked focus a lot of times during the season, so I wouldn't put that much weight into the Dodgers' road record there not being that good. I think they are better than that when it comes to the playoffs here, but it still is a thing that you got to look at. The home advantage has been a real thing in baseball this season. And then it's Probably a little bit less so for the Yankees, Toronto, because the Yankees are actually good on the road. 7 games above 500 on the road. Toronto was still really good at home, though, 54-27 at home. So just things to keep in mind there. Jameson, what's up? Thanks for hanging out. Jameson rooting for the Dodgers here. I mean, I am not a fan of the Dodgers, but I don't really like the Phillies either. And because I picked the Dodgers to win to win this series in my bracket, I guess I will slightly root for the Dodgers with you there. Phillies got knocked out early by the Mets. That was last year. Jeffrey, thanks for hanging out again, man. I completely forgot about that because I think you're right, though. Yeah, they got knocked out in the first round by the Mets, and then the Mets, I remember the Mets played the Brewers last year, and I forget which one of those teams. The Mets beat the Brewers, right, in that series, and then the Mets lost in the Mets lost to the Dodgers, right, in the NLCS last year. Did I get that right? I think I did. I think that's what happened last year. Mets not even making the playoffs this year is crazy, though, given that the Mets had like a pretty good run differential, and Cleveland did not, by the way. The Mets, yeah, it's just kind of ridiculous, man. And then we have Detroit at Seattle. Seattle is a heavy favorite here, man. I mean, Seattle's just, they're really good at home. Their pitching is really, really good at home. Seattle's 51-30 at home. Detroit was significantly worse on the road than they were at home. They're 1 game above 500 on the road, but I think Seattle has a pretty serious edge in this one. You know, I picked Seattle to win the entire thing, so that remains to be seen. But I think Seattle does have the easiest series out of all of these teams. Not that anything is easy in Major League Baseball, but Seattle should win this. The question is, when are they going to get Brian Wu back, man? Because Wu would probably be their game 1 starter here if he was healthy, but he went down in his final game. He was pitching really well in the final game, and he had some sort of injury. So I'm going to look right now, actually, because I want to see if Seattle's going to win the World Series. They need Wu to come back, man. He's day-to-day. It looks like he's listed as their number 3 starter, so he might be ready to pitch at some point in this series. So we'll see. They might actually wind up having him pitch on the road. Detroit, of course, did win their wild card series against the Cleveland, of course. But Cleveland, as I said, they probably didn't even belong in the playoffs, man. So how impressive is it that Detroit beat them? It was on the road, but Detroit did beat them in the 3-game series that went to 3 games. But in this game, I think Detroit's at a serious disadvantage here, man. Detroit's going with a bullpen game yet again here because Skubal isn't ready yet because he pitched game 1 last series, so they're going to wait, and he's probably going to pitch in one of the next couple of games. But Detroit going with a bullpen game here, I don't think that's a good thing. Troy Melton is listed as a starter. He's probably only going to go maybe a couple innings here. He did have good numbers on the season, 2.76 ERA, 1.01 whip. 3.47 road ERA, though, so not as good on the road. And he was really bad in his 1 outing in the playoffs so far. He only lasted a third of an inning against Cleveland, and he gave up 4 earned runs on a walk, a home run, 3 hits, and no strikeouts. That is not a good sign. So Melton, I mean, he might melt in this one, man. I mean, I don't trust him. I don't know if we need to really, dive into his numbers much against Seattle. Seattle is not really faced him much. Only Suarez has ever seen him before, and he's 1 for 3 with a strikeout. Seattle, man, they built this team to try to win right now, man. They traded at the trade deadline. They have a really good starting pitching rotation, especially, well, at home they really do. On the road, maybe not so much. They stacked their lineup with Suarez and Josh Naylor, I think is the nailer that they got there. So, the nail gun, the nailer. He fucks a lot of women, I guess. I don't know. But, yeah, Seattle did stack their lineup, man. So Melton, I mean, even though Seattle's not that familiar with him, he's only going to be in the game for a little while. I wouldn't put that much stock into it. I don't like the bullpen games, man. I really don't, even though Detroit is the team that does it the most, so they're used to it. They know how to manage it, but still, I don't like that, and I don't think it sets up well for Detroit here. George Kirby is going to get the call for Seattle here. He did have a good season, even though his 4.21 ERA is a little bit high. 1.19 whip is pretty good. He's definitely good at home, 3.38 ERA at home. He pitched well this month, even though his 5.4 ERA makes it look bad. He had 1 bad start at Tampa to start, well, I keep saying this month, but September, to start September. That's a hard park to pitch in, man. It's a hitter-friendly ballpark. Kirby was just thrown off by that. He's not going to be thrown off pitching at home here, though, man. And he did well his last 4 outings. He allowed 3 or fewer earned runs in all of them, 2 or fewer in the last 3. Had double-digit strikeout numbers in 2 of the last 3, including against the Dodgers. So he is definitely in good form right now. 34-3 strikeout walk ratio in September, so his command was right on. Against Detroit, though, his numbers are actually not that good. In 70 at-bats, 26-5 strikeout walk ratio, 271 average allowed, 1,020 OPS. So I do worry a little bit about Kirby, man. And the other thing about Seattle is they're not really used to this. They're not really used to being a playoff team like this, especially a favorite like this. So maybe I shouldn't have picked them to win the whole thing, because that is a bit of a concern. Although a lot of times you do see surprising teams make it through in the baseball playoffs here. So we will see, but there are some concerns with this Seattle team. You got to lay a big price if you want Seattle. They did drop from -200 to -188. 72% of tickets, 88% of the cash on them. I would not want to play Detroit here, though, man. I mean, I would maybe consider going with, go with Seattle to go over their team total in this game or something like that. Go with Seattle to hit this Detroit bullpen lineup that they have to face here, and then you don't really have to worry about what's going to happen with Kirby. Because I think you can get some offense from Seattle here. Seattle has a solid offense, man, which is one of the reasons why I think Seattle is a good pick, is because they're the team that has the most balance between having good hitting, good bullpen pitching, and good starting pitching. I think Seattle has the best balance across the big three, as they're 10th, as you can see, in offense with the OPS there. And their relief pitching is good. On the season, they were 9th in bullpen ERA, so they have balance. And their starting pitching was some of the best. So there is balance there for Seattle, at least. I would lean to an over in this game, too, though, because I don't trust the Detroit bullpen scenario here that they're going with, and I really don't trust Kirby that much either against Detroit's lineup. Money's coming in on the under and disagreeing with me, but the total is giving you pretty much no leeway with the 7 there. So, but yes, we do have 2 pretty decent bullpens. I forgot to mention that. I think Seattle's is probably the slightly better of the 2. Detroit's is not bad, though. Oops, I was already on the pitching. Let me see. Where's Detroit at? Detroit's actually a little bit worse than I thought. They're at 17th in bullpen ERA, which is not a good sign when they're going with a bullpen game anyway. But just as far as the series is concerned, Seattle does have a bullpen advantage in the series as well. So something to keep in mind there. 58% of tickets are on the over in that one, and 58% of the cash on the under. So we will see what happens with that. Purdue, yes, Purdue is one of my plays. Can you get 10.5 now? I'm going to have to see. I gave it out on my show last night when it was at 9.5, and I didn't think it was going to get to 10 again. But if you can get 10 or 10.5, then yeah, I would say, yeah, do it, because that is one of my plays at a worse number. So you can't buy a championship. No, I mean, the teams that have the most money, well, the Dodgers have some of the most money, and they did win it last year. Yankees have some of the most money, and they were in the World Series last year, but that's actually rare. As I said, that was a rare scenario where kind of the best team in each league did actually make it to the World Series last year. It usually doesn't happen that way. And you get some of the smaller money teams get in there, although it never happened from Moneyball, though, for the A's. The A's never won the whole thing, man, although they definitely performed well given what their talent was there. So that's why the Moneyball was working. And the Red Sox did kind of with Epstein, the Red Sox, Theo Epstein. I don't think he's in the Epstein files, but who knows? Theo, I mean, he when he came into the Red Sox, he was doing a mix of small ball and big money baseball, and that's what you need. I think that's what you want. You need to give out some of those good contracts to get some of those superstars Manny Ramirez and whatever. But he was also getting guys for cheap who were going to fill in that lineup really well. So some really so kind of a combination of expensive players and value players, and I think that's the mix that you actually need. So that's what he did there. Ohtani's minus 10,000 for MVP, so you can't even bet that anymore. Yeah, I don't know when they announced the MVP, but so that's just for the National League, right? Because I think there is one in each league. But AL, I think it's going to be Cal Raleigh, right? In the AL, I would have to imagine. And yeah, Ohtani, I assume, will win it again in the NL. They're all in the files? No. All right, let's get to the best bet segment here, man. And I do have one in the first game up in baseball, and then I'll just reiterate my college football plays before I get out of here. But we're going to go with Milwaukee on the money line at minus 140 here, even though I know I said I didn't think Milwaukee was going to win this series. I had San Diego winning this series in my brackets. That was the one big mistake that I made in my bracket so far. That was the only wild card series I got wrong, was San Diego against the Cubs. But I'm going to go back to what I was saying before, man, and I don't really fully trust this Cubs rotation here, man. Milwaukee, it looks like the number did drop on them from minus 150 to minus 136. They are public. 78% of tickets, 84% of the cash, though. So I think the money is coming in on Milwaukee, too. And I'm looking at the pitching matchup here, and I think that we have an advantage with Milwaukee. They have a better bullpen. They have the 6th best bullpen ERA, and they got McGill back, their closer. So I think Milwaukee, they have a pretty strong bullpen, man. The Cubs bullpen isn't bad, but they're at 11th in ERA, so Milwaukee does have the better bullpen, and they're rested coming into this one. The extra rest just might hurt their hitting a little bit, but Milwaukee, decent hitting team, though, even though the Cubs do have the better offense. As you can see, 7th in OPS. Milwaukee was 11th, but not a huge disparity there between the two. I know Milwaukee's not quite as good at hitting at home, but we're still going to go with it in this one, man. Milwaukee was really good at home. They're actually really good both ways. They went both ways, road and home. They were good both ways. Had the best record in baseball, 52-29. Overall, I believe they still have the best record in baseball, right? They're the 1 seed, I'm pretty sure, and Philly is the 2, which is why Milwaukee's getting the winner of the 4-5 matchup there between the Cubs and the Padres. Cubs were fairly good on the road, 42-39, but closer to 500. So I do think we have a bit of a home advantage with Milwaukee here, which I think most teams have a home advantage. I think Toronto has the least of the home advantages out of all these teams. But we're obviously looking at the starting pitching matchup here, and I keep saying I think Matthew Boyd for the Cubs, even though I know he had a good season, 3.21 ERA, 1.09 WHIP. I think that he might be done, man, for the season, just based on how many innings he threw. 179 2/3 innings pitched, which, as I keep pointing out, he did not throw that many innings since he was on Detroit in 2019. That was the last time he did it. And his career stats tell you that he kind of overperformed this year, too. He had a really good season, for sure, but I think he might be burned out a little bit now, and I do think that that what we see from him lately justifies that. Where he had a 5.31 ERA validates that, I guess I should say. 5.31 ERA in September, 12-5 strikeout walk ratio. So he was not that impressive in September. He pitched once in the series against San Diego, so he's making his second start. I think he's the only pitcher that's making their second playoff start already, besides Melton, who I don't think really counts for Detroit. So Boyd is one of the guys making his second start here. I think that's right? Because Ohtani didn't start yet in the playoffs, and neither did Heel. So yeah, Boyd is making his second playoff start, and they're trying to limit his pitches, so that is smart. They took him out in the 5th inning against San Diego, and he was pitching fairly well. He gave up 1 earned run in that one. They wound up winning the game, but still, man, I'm worried about Boyd, man. He's pitching basically on his normal rest here, but I think he's kind of wearing down. I think he's been overused this year. They tried to kind of save him, not letting him go that many pitches, only 58 pitches last time out, which will help him a little bit, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. His numbers against Milwaukee are not terrible, but they're mediocre in 78 at-bats, 17-9 strikeout walk ratio, 244 average, 732 OPS. So it's not like they absolutely wreck him or anything like that, but I still think he's at a disadvantage here. And he's also not as good on the road. He has a 3.9 road ERA, which I know isn't bad, but he's definitely more beatable on the road. And he's going up against Milwaukee's ace, man, Freddie Peralta. I mean, this is what Peralta's here for. And Peralta has been the much better pitcher down the stretch. I think he's overall the better pitcher. His career numbers bear that out as well. He's the younger of the two as well still, so he's more close to being in his peak. 2.7 ERA for him, 1.08 WHIP. He's really good at home, 1.77 ERA, so we have the home road splits in our favor here with Peralta. In September, he had a 3.52 ERA and 36-8 strikeout walk ratio. So he pitched well. He allowed 2 or fewer earned runs in every outing, going all the way back, every outing except one against Texas on the road, which isn't a good sign, but still, I mean, I think he just kind of got unlucky in that outing. He didn't give up that many hits or anything and had 9 strikeouts still. But besides that weird outing Against Texas, he's allowed 2 or fewer earned runs in all of his starts, going all the way back, besides that one, going all the way back to late July. So he is definitely in good form right now. He did pitch against the Cubs recently, and he shut them out for 6 innings. 1-hit performance, which was at Chicago, 6 strikeouts, 3 walks. Yes, he did actually do poorly against them back at home in July. That was that last start in July. 4 innings pitched, 5 earned runs, allowed 4 walks. So he had some wildness in that start, but the fact that he bounced back and pitched better on the road against the Cubs, I think, is good. And his overall numbers against the Cubs are really good, and 178 at bats, so they are familiar with him. Still too many walks, 60 to 25 strikeout walk ratio. It is too many walks, but he's held the Cubs to a 157 average and a 570 OPS. So he has some of the best numbers out of all the starting pitchers today, matchup-wise. And Boyd, by the way, as far as his recent starts against Milwaukee, he went 5 1/3 at home against Milwaukee back on August 19th, and he gave up 4 earned runs and had 3 walks, 3 strikeouts, so that wasn't a good start. And at Milwaukee the time before that, he walked 5 guys and gave up 5 earned runs in 5 innings, 6 hits allowed, 2 strikeouts, 5 walks. So he was worse against Milwaukee than Peralta was against the Cubs as well. So we're going to do it. We're going to go with the Brewers in this one. You can get a little bit of a cheaper price there. It's playoff time, so I know the money line, it's a little bit expensive to do it. If you want to pay less for it, you could do what I recommend sometimes and do half bet, split it on the run line and split it on the money line. But I kind of worry about them getting the run line portion of that done. So playoff time, I'm going to go money line on it. Playoffs are like lower scoring games too, so I would worry about being able to scoop that entire thing. Although if you do the split bet, half -1.5 run line and half money line, you'll still win a little bit of money if they only win by 1, and you're putting less at risk if you do that. Josh Harris from the Sixers, I don't know much about him, but yeah, I guess they're all in the Epstein files. Judge actually is the favorite. All right, interesting, because everybody just talks about Raleigh the whole time, man, so I don't know. So yeah, maybe Judge will win it. I kind of hope he does, and I hope it's announced during the playoffs because I want that distraction to come in for the Yankees. But yeah, so anyway, Milwaukee is one of the plays here, the Milwaukee Brewers, and then go watch my college football show to see this analysis, or wait for my Instagram videos that I'm about to put up soon. But college football, we have Purdue plus 9.5. Although you guys said there might be a 10, or I doubt there's a 10.5 out there right now, but I got to look and make sure. I told you guys you didn't have to play it like immediately just to see if it did get back to 10, because you're fading the public in that one. So yeah, 10 is a lot better, of course. But yes, Purdue is one of my plays. Louisville -6.5. Texas A&M, I know we're not going to get the better number on this at this point, but -15.5. I think anything below 17 is still good on Texas A&M. And then Houston, which I gave out kind of on the fly, which is still, it was going to be a strong lean of mine, but I decided to elevate it to a play. Houston plus 11.5, or I think you can get, actually, it's actually at 12. I saw it last night at 12, so I'm gonna list it at 12 at this point. Although there's almost no difference between those two numbers, but those are the plays. Am I going out to watch the games? I'm going to be at my parents' today. I'll probably have the games on, but I don't know if I could stomach all of it, to be honest. But I will be at my parents' today. I'm going to be hanging out down there for a bit. They live in a pretty nice town, man. So I get away from the. I'm not that I live in the city or anything like that, but I get further away from the city there. It's a better environment, more peaceful there. That's going to do it. Learn to Toad on Twitter and Learn to Toad on Instagram, where I put the short betting content out on that platform there. Subscribe to the channel, man. I should mention that at the top of the show. It all helps me out. We can get this thing monetized soon, and then I can get some super chats. I can do some more cool things, so that helps me out. Audio, if you give me a review and listen on audio, that helps me out too. The audio numbers have gone up a bit. I think because it's football season and because my football's been hot recently, I think that's helping us out there. So that's Spotify and Apple mostly is what we care about there. Covered in Uke is my ukulele YouTube, so you can check that out, and patreon.com/learn-to-toad, and you can throw me some support there as well, and you get some bonus Uke content as it stands right now. Dude, my plays on this show have been so good, and I'm giving them out for free, man. I should paywall this shit, man. That's kind of my dream. I want to get paid to do like betting analysis, man. So come on, whoever's watching this, pick me up, baby. Even though you're gonna hate my politics and whatever, and say that I'm way too offensive and whatever. And I've got my BC hat on today. Well, I don't even know who BC is playing today, to be honest. I looked at the game, and it was not a game that I had any real thoughts on as far as betting it. So I think they are playing today, but BC, I mean, they're not going anywhere, obviously. They might make a bowl. I mean, that's what we hope for with BC at this point, is get into a bowl and try to win the bowl. That's pretty much it. You're going to watch the Cubs? All right, yeah. That's the first game up, afternoon baseball. Yeah, that's me. I'm on a lily pad in a pond. Guys, thanks for hanging out this morning, man. I'll be back tonight with the NFL show, and you guys are really not going to like my NFL. I always say it every time, man. My NFL plays, think about the ugliest possible plays that I could have. That's what I'm going to give out on the NFL show tonight. So stay tuned for that. I'll be back late tonight for that. And it won't be a 2-hour show like the college show. It'll be like an hour and a half. Number one. Yeah, thank you, sir. Not quite, but. And we have short NFL weeks from now on for a while, because we're into the bye weeks now. So some teams have byes. So I think we only have about 13 NFL games, maybe 14 this time. We don't have the full slate of 16, though. I know Green Bay is on a bye because I had their kicker in fantasy, and I had to pick up another kicker to fill that role there. Jeffrey, thanks for hanging out, man. I will see you guys tonight if you guys come back for tonight. And then tomorrow morning, of course, I think we're going to have more baseball to talk about, and WNBA resumes as well. So I'll be back then if I'm still alive. Peace for now.